What if you stood on Wall Street and heard cows instead of cars? What if Manhattan was silent, dark, and ruled by wind, wood, and water? This is New York before skyscrapers, before crowds, before it became the city the world knows. And by the end of this video, you'll see the exact moment everything changed forever. Using original paintings, maps, and AI reconstructions, we're going to walk through New York in the 1700s, street by street, year by year, and uncover how a quiet colonial town became the most powerful city in the modern world. But near the end, we'll reach a year that nearly destroyed New York completely and reshaped its future. Let's begin. It's the year 1746. The island of Manhattan looks nothing like what you imagine today. No skyline, no bridges, no endless noise. Instead, the city ends abruptly at the water. Wall Street doesn't lead to banks or stock exchanges. It leads directly into the East River. Here, a wooden ferry landing sits at the edge of the island, one of the busiest places in colonial New York. This is where Manhattan breathes. People crowd the shoreline from early morning until dusk. Merchants arrive carrying barrels of flour, sugar, and rum. Travelers wait with horses and carts. Sailors shout orders as ropes tighten and sails flap in the wind. This ferry is not a convenience. It is a lifeline. Brooklyn lies just across the river, but the crossing can be dangerous in bad weather. Ice in winter, fog in spring, sudden storms year-round. Yet people cross constantly because trade demands it. Behind the ferry landing, small buildings line the dirt road. Taverns, warehouses, homes built in the Dutch style. A reminder that this city was once called New Amsterdam. Even decades after the British takeover, the Dutch influence still shapes daily life. This is a city layered with identities, but Manhattan is only half the story. Across the water, another New York exists, quieter, colder, and shaped by the land itself. The scene shifts to Brooklyn, winter of 1760. Snow blankets the ground. This is not a city, it's a village landscape. Small wooden houses sit low to the earth, built to withstand harsh winters. Smoke rises slowly from chimneys as families burn wood to survive the cold. Men split firewood near barns. Women carry baskets of food between houses. Children play cautiously along frozen roads. A horse stands near a wooden sled, its breath visible in the cold air. Life here moves at the pace of the seasons. Brooklyn in the 1700s is ruled by agriculture. Families grow their own food. They raise livestock. They trade with nearby towns when roads allow. Winter means preparation and patience. Food must last. Firewood must be rationed. Every task matters. There are no streetlights here. Nights are dark, silent, and absolute. In moments like this, it's impossible to imagine that this rural land will one day become one of the most densely populated places on Earth. But change is already approaching. Because while Brooklyn sleeps beneath snow, Manhattan is becoming something far more valuable. By 1763, New York is firmly under British control. At the southern tip of Manhattan stands Fort George, a symbol of power, order, and empire. Cannons face the harbor. British flags fly above stone walls. Soldiers patrol the shoreline. The harbor is alive. Ships of every size enter and exit daily. Merchant vessels, supply ships, Royal Navy warships. Goods from across the Atlantic flow into New York. Textiles, metal tools, luxury items from Europe. And in return, raw materials flow out. New York is no longer just a settlement. It's a colonial port of growing importance. Every crate unloaded strengthens the city's future. Dock workers move endlessly between ships and warehouses. Merchants negotiate prices. Sailors repair sails and hulls. The harbor defines New York. Whoever controls this water controls wealth, power, and influence. And the British understand this better than anyone. But farther north, a very different New York still exists. In 1765, Harlem is unrecognizable. There are no apartment blocks, no theaters, no crowded streets. Instead, open fields stretch across the land. Small farmhouses sit far apart, surrounded by grass, trees, and gentle hills. Forests remain thick and largely untouched. Families work the land from sunrise to sunset. Small boats drift along the Harlem River, used for fishing, short travel, and trade. Life here is calm, predictable, and deeply tied to nature. This is Manhattan before ambition reaches its northern edge. But that calm will not last. Because by the next decade, New York is pulled into a conflict that will shake the entire continent. The year is 1775. The harbor is crowded like never before. Ships are built, repaired, loaded, and unloaded without pause. British soldiers walk beside sailors and merchants. Tension hangs in the air. This is the beginning of the American Revolution. New York's location makes it priceless. Whoever controls this harbor controls access to the colonies, and both sides know it. Warehouses overflow with supplies. Rowboats move cargo between ships and shore. Cannons are cleaned and positioned. New York is no longer just a port. It is a strategic target. Whispers spread through taverns. Newspapers carry uncertain news. Loyalists and revolutionaries live side by side, unsure who to trust. The city holds its breath. And quietly, behind the scenes, another revolution is taking place. One made of ink, paper, and words. In 1775, New York plays a critical role in colonial communication. This building, an early postal center, helps reshape how information moves. Benjamin Franklin helps organize postal routes that connect the colonies faster than ever before. Before this system, news traveled slowly. Letters could take weeks. Information arrived late, if at all. Now, ideas spread. Political arguments, reports of British actions, calls for independence. The postal system becomes a weapon, one that fuels revolution. For the first time, the colonies begin to feel connected. But all of this leads to a single year, a year that will decide New York's fate. By 1776, New York is no longer a small town. The waterfront is dense and organized. Homes stand close together. Multiple churches rise above the streets. Wharves stretch into the water. Ships fill the harbor from end to end. This is a city ready to become something larger. But 1776 is also the year everything explodes. The Declaration of Independence is signed. The colonies are in open rebellion. And New York becomes a prize both sides are desperate to control. Its harbor, its location, its resources. War arrives at the city's doorstep. After the Battle of Long Island, the British capture New York. They will hold it for 7 long years. British soldiers march through the streets. Officers ride on horseback. Civilians watch in silence. The city is occupied. Daily life becomes tense and uncertain. Fires destroy parts of the city. Food shortages strain families. Supplies are rationed. People are forced to choose sides or hide their beliefs. New York becomes a center for British military operations. Spies move quietly. Prisoners are held. Political decisions ripple outward from the city. For 7 years, New Yorkers live under foreign rule. But when the war finally ends, the city that emerges is no longer the same. In 1783, the British leave New York. The occupation ends. The city is scarred, physically and emotionally, but it is also transformed. New York has learned how powerful it can be, its harbor, its people, its resilience. Soon, it will become the temporary capital of the United States, and later, one of the greatest port cities in the world. These images show a New York few people ever imagine. Snow-covered villages, quiet farmland, crowded colonial docks, occupied streets under foreign rule. A city shaped not by steel and glass, but by ordinary people living through extraordinary change. Even in the 1700s, New York was already becoming something larger than itself. If you enjoy uncovering forgotten worlds like this, Epic Ages Uncovered brings history to life through immersive reconstructions like these. Subscribe and step into the past with us. Now watch this next reconstruction, because it reveals how one single event reshaped an entire empire.